Hi friends, very good morning to all of you. Okay, now let us see the monthly policy review, that is the February 2021 edition. So there are plenty of important items discussed in this edition of monthly policy review, and let's go and see one by one. Right friends, just I want to give you an overview of what we are going to discuss in this session. So the first item will be first phase of budget session 2021 concludes. So this will be the first item, and the second one is Union Budget 2021-22 presented. So the budget has been presented, and it will be discussed in detail in the second phase of the budget session. Right, friends?
Power off.
The 15th Finance Commission submitted its report for uh, for the for the 2021 to 26 period. The 15th Finance Commission has been constituted, and it has submitted its report for the coming 5 years period. Right, friends? GDP grew by 0.4% in the third quarter of 2020-21. So GDP registered a meager growth of 0.4% in the third quarter of the financial year. Right, friends? Industrial production grew by 1% in the third quarter of 2020-21. Right, friends? Similar to the GDP, the IIP, Index of Industrial Production, also registered a meager growth of 1%. Right, friends? The other thing is about the monetary policy committee. Repo and reverse repo rates unchanged at 4% and 3.3% respectively. So this is given by the bi-monthly policy of the monetary policy committee. Right, friends? The last item will be the tribunals reforms, rationalization and conditions of service bill 2021 introduced in Lok Sabha. So there are some changes proposed with respect to tribunals, especially the appellate tribunals. So that bill has been introduced in the Lok Sabha. Right, friends, we will go and see each and every item in some detail. Right, friends, first phase of the budget session 2021 concludes. So this session has been started with the President address to both the houses of Parliament. Friends, as you all know, the first session of every year, that is the budget session, that will be started by the Honorable President address to the joint house of the Parliament, joint session of the Parliament. And the this budget session also started with the president's address to the both houses of parliament. Right, the finance minister presented the union budget on February 1st 2021. Friends, as you all know, a couple of years back the budget presentation has been advanced from last day of the February month to first day of the February. Right, friends? The 15th Finance Commission's report was also tabled in the Parliament on the same day, that is February 1st. Right, friends? Let us see some key highlights from the budget. You might have already read about the budget, but it could be a kind of revision for you to revise main important points. So we will now see some of the key highlights from the budget. Right, friend? Expenditure. The government proposes to spend 34 lakhs 83,000 crore rupees in 21-22 period. So this is expenditure. Friends, this is a 14% annual increase from the actual expenditure of 2019-20. So this is a 14% increase. Right, friends? The government expects to receive 19 lakh 76,000 crore rupees for the budget year, and this is a 6% increase over 2019-20 actual figures. Right, friends? Also, the government expects the GDP growth will be 14.4%. This is nominal GDP growth. So nominal GDP growth is real growth plus inflation. Right, friends? The actual GDP, the real GDP for the year 2020-21 was estimated to grow at 10%, but in actual it is revised down to 13%, minus 13%. Friends, as you all know, because of the COVID-19 related developments, the growth rates have been plunged drastically. So for the financial year 2020-21, the growth rate has been revised down to minus 13%. Right, friends? If we see the deficits, the revenue deficit target is at 5.1%, and the fiscal deficit target is at 6.8% for the budget year 2021-22. Right, friends? The target of primary deficit is estimated at 3.1% of the GDP. So, friends, from the amount we are borrowing, when we serve the debts, the 3.1% of that amount will be available for us for the expenditure towards the capital sector. So that is the figure given by the primary deficit. So the primary deficit target is expected to be 3.1% of the GDP. So friends, these are some of the key highlights of the budget 2021-22. Right, friends? We can see them in the table format also. The total expenditure is 34 lakh plus crores, and the total receipts are 19 lakh crores, and fiscal deficit that is expected to be 6.8% of the GDP, that is around 15 lakh crores, and revenue deficit is at 11 lakh crores, and it is expected to be 5.1% of the GDP. Right, friends? Now we will see some tax proposals. So there is a change in the provident funds scheme. So the budget proposes to limit the tax-free income from provident funds at rupees 2.5 lakh. So from above the 2.5 lakh rupees, there will be a tax on the profits made from the provident fund deposits. Right, friends? Other proposals include extension of certain temporary tax incentives up to the financial year 21-22 also. Right, friends? Levy of a new agriculture and infrastructure development cess. This is imposed on petrol, diesel, and the import of certain items. So this is at, I think, 4%. The new cess is new agriculture and infrastructure cess imposed with with a rate of 4%. Right, friends? A reduction in the time limit specified for reopening income tax assessments from 6 years to 3 years. So this is a tax payer friendly measure, and making the life easy for the taxpayers. Now the reopening of cases, this can be done only for the cases that are 3-year old. Earlier it was 6 years old. Friends, these are some of the tax proposals in the budget. Now we will see some policy proposals. So the non-tax proposals are a target to complete divestment of Air India, IDBI Bank, and Pawan Hans Limited in 2021-22. So government is focusing betting much on the disinvestment process. So this year, the government is targeting to disinvest Air India, IDBI Bank, and Pawan Hans Limited. Friends, government is also thinking of establishing economic corridors and 7 textile parks. So this is also an important non-tax policy proposal. Right, friends? There is another thing: launch of Prime Minister Atmanirbhar Swasth Bharat Yojana to develop capacity of health systems, strengthen national institutions, and create institutions to detect and cure new diseases. Friends, the COVID-19 has exposed our health systems, and the weaknesses in the health system have come to the fore. So realizing this situation, the government is going forward and investing heavily in the health sector. So this is a good and positive development. Right, friends? The 15th Finance Commission submitted its report for the 2021 to 26 period. This is for the 5-year period. Friends, the Finance Commission is a constitutional body. It is mandated by the Constitution of India, and it is formed by the President of India to give suggestions on center state financial relations. And the Finance Commission also deals both in vertical devolution and as well as the horizontal devolution of resources, finances in our country. Right, friends? As you all know, Mr. N.K. Singh is the chairperson of the 15th Finance Commission, and he was required to submit two reports because, as we all know, Jammu and Kashmir bifurcation has been taken place. So, in this context, it had to submit two reports. Friends, the first report consisting of recommendations for the financial year 2020-21. This was tabled in Parliament in February 2020. So this report is for 1 year period. And the final report that has been now submitted is for the period of 2021 to 26, and it was tabled in Parliament on February 1st, 2021. Right, friends? If we see the key recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission, the share of states in the divisible pool of central taxes for the period 2021 to 26 is recommended to be 41%, and this is same that has been recommended for the period of 2020 to 21. Friends, this is less than the 42% share that is recommended by the 14th Finance Commission for the previous 5-year period, that is 2015 to 20. Friends, you might wonder why there is a reduction of 1%, but the adjustment of 1% is to provide for the newly formed union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So this is the center has to give divert its own resources to these two union territories. So the 1% that has been reduced will go towards this. Friends, criteria for distribution of central taxes among states. So it is also the criterion is also similar to that of the commission recommended for the period of 2020 to 21. So now we will see the criteria for devolution, and here it is compared. The criterion has been compared with the 14th Finance Commission's recommendations. Friends, income distance, the 15th Finance Commission recommended it as 45%. The 14th Commission recommendation was 50%. So income distance was 50% for the 14th Finance Commission. The 15th Finance Commission reduced it by 5%. So area is same. I mean, for the 14th and the 15th Finance Commissions, area was same, that is 15% each. Right, friends? Population at the 1971 levels. So the 14th Finance Commission has recommended the weightage should be 17.5%, and the 15th Finance Commission did not consider the population of 1971. Friends, you might wonder why the previous commission has taken 1971 as the base year for considering population, because from then the southern states have reduced population at a at a considerable level. I mean, they have worked for the reduction of population, reducing population, and the population growth rate has predominantly came down in the southern states. So the commission thought that they should not be disadvantaged for the good effort they made towards reducing the population. So because of that, the previous commission has taken the base year for population as 1971. Hence, the 15th Finance Commission has considered the population at the 2011 census, and it gave the weightage of 15% to the population. But the 15th Finance Commission has rewarded the states that have worked in the population control by introducing an item, that is demographic performance, and 12.5% weightage has been given towards that item. So in this way, the states which have reduced the population have been rewarded. Right, friends? Forest cover, there was weightage for forest cover in the 14th Finance Commission, but the 15th Finance Commission did not consider it. Right, friends? Forest and ecology, and the 15th Finance Commission introduced not only, I mean, instead of only forest cover, it introduced both forest and ecology, and it gave a weightage of 10%. And the 15th Finance Commission also introduced another new item, that is tax and fiscal efforts, and it has given the weightage of 2.5%. So total weightage for criterion for evaluation is 100%. So these are the distributions towards various heads. Right, friends, now we will see grants in aid for the states. So friends, in total the commission has recommended 10.3 lakh crore towards the for the period of 2021 to 26. So there are some sector specific grants have been recommended towards the sectors like health sector, education sector and agriculture. So there are some sector specific grants. Friends, now we will see the revenue deficit grants that were to almost 3 lakh crores, local government grants that are 4.36 lakh crores, and disaster management grants that are 1.22 lakh crore, and sector specific grants for agriculture, health, and health, education, and agriculture. It is 1.29 lakh crores. Friends, there are some state specific grants, those are 14,000 crores. So these are the grants in aid for the grants in aid recommended by the 15th Finance Commission for the states. Alright, friends, the GDP grew by 0.4% in third quarter of 2020-21, and in the past, in the previous two quarters, the GDP growth rate was negative, in the negative territory, and it is a positive sign that in the third quarter, it registered GDP growth rate is positive. Friends, this is after two consecutive quarters of contraction of GDP of 24.4% and 7.3% in the first and second quarters of 2020-21. Right, friends? GDP growth was 3.3% in the third quarter of 2019-20. Right, friends? As per the second advanced estimates, GDP is estimated to contract by 8% overall in 2020-21 period over 2019 and 20 period. So for the financial year 2020-21, it is expected that there will be a negative growth rate of 8%. Right, friends? Now we will see in the growth rates in some more detail. Friends, GDP across economic sectors is measured in terms of gross value added. Friends, the GVA, gross value added system, has been introduced according to the NSA, that is National System of Accounts, that is mandated by the UNO. And when time permits, we will know in some detail about the gross value addition and why it has been introduced. Right, friends? The sectors with the largest contraction in the first half of, that is April to September of 2020-21, were construction, trade, mining, and manufacturing. Right, friends? Now here you can see for the second quarter the growth rate was minus 24.4%. For the second quarter it is minus 7.3%, and in the third quarter it is a positive growth rate of 0.4%. Right, friends? Index of industrial production grew by 1% in the third quarter, and this is in when compared to previous year, there was a 1.4% contraction in the same period, that is in 2019-20. So it is a good sign that a positive growth rate has been recorded in the IIP, also Index of Industrial Production. Friends, IIP has also declined in the previous two quarters by 36% and 6%, similar to GDP growth rate. Right, friends, mining continued to be contracted in the third quarter by 4% after declining by 22% and 7% in the first and second quarters of 2020-21. So here, friends, you can see For the purple color, this is mining. Mining is still in red, that is it registered -4% growth rate for the third quarter. So as you can see, other things, those are manufacturing recorded 1% growth rate, and electricity recorded a positive growth rate of 7%, and overall IIP recorded the positive growth rate of 1%. But still mining remains in the red. It registered a -4% growth rate in the third quarter. Friends, manufacturing output recorded a growth rate of 1% after recording contraction in the first and the second quarters of 2020-21. Right, friends, electricity production grew by 7% in the third quarter after declining by 16% in the first quarter and growing by 0.1% in the second quarter. So comparatively, the electricity segment has recorded desirable growth rates. Okay, friends, now we will see monetary policy committee decisions. Repo and reverse repo rates unchanged at 4% and 3.35% respectively. Right, friends, the monetary policy committee released its sixth bi-monthly monetary policy statement 2020-21. Friends, the RBI has shifted to a bi-monthly monetary policy a couple of years back. So in a year there will be 6 bi-monthly monetary policy statements. So this is the last and final one, that is the 6th bi-monthly monetary policy statement for the year 2020-21. Hence the policy repo rate, the policy rate for RBI is the repo rate, and it has been retained at 4%. Okay, friends, we will see other decisions that have been taken by the Monetary Policy Committee. The reverse repo rate, that has also been retained by the 3%. Friends, you should be aware of what is a repo rate and what is repo rate. Repo rate is the rate at which the banks will borrow from the RBI, and the reverse repo rate is when the banks park their monies with the RBI, the rate at which RBI pays to those banks. So that is the repo rate. Friends, there is marginal standing facility. It is the rate at which banks can borrow additional money resources. So when they borrow at repo rate and their deposits have been exhausted, there is a facility of marginal standing. So it is retained at the 4.25%. Right, friends, the monetary policy also decided to continue with its accommodative stance of monetary policy to revive growth. So friends, accommodative monetary policy is, in the future, in the coming policy statements, the interest rates will be reduced or retained, and they will not be increased. It is the accommodative policy stance. There are two other policy statements, policy stances. We will know about them when time permits. So now the RBI has decided to keep the accommodative policy stance. It is due to mitigate the impact of the COVID-19 on the economy. So in the future, the interest rates might be stable or they might be reduced. Right, friends, now we will come to the final item, that is Tribunals Reforms Bill 2021 introduced in Lok Sabha. Right, friends, the bill seeks to dissolve certain existing appellate tribunals and transfer their functions such as adjudication of appeals to the existing judicial bodies, so mainly high courts. So friends, some of the appellate tribunals that are proposed to be removed are Appellate Tribunal under the Cinematograph Act 1952, also for Appellate Tribunal for Trade Markets Act 1999, and Appellate Tribunal under the Patents Act of 1970. The appellate powers will now go to respective high courts. Right, friends, if we see some history about the tribunals and the establishment of tribunals, the Finance Act 2017 empowered the central government to notify rules on qualifications of members, terms and conditions of their service, and the composition of search cum selection committee for 19 tribunals. So, in effect, the appointment, service, and even the responsibility of the search and selection committee, all these powers have been transferred back to the executive, shifted to the executive. So this was a major change. At that time, there was allegation that the executive is usurping the powers of the judiciary. I mean, the government will be going to be its own judge, as the appointment or service conditions are in the hands of the executive. Right, friends? The present bill amends the 2017 Act to include provisions related to the composition of the search cum selection committees and terms of office of members in the Act itself. So instead of giving the powers to the executive, now the government has made some corrections by including the composition of the search and selection committee and as well as the service conditions for the members in the act itself. So the government cannot change these norms by issuing guidelines or rules. So there is some protection, some kind of protection for these tribunals now. Okay, friends. There are some changes in the search and selection committee, and there are some changes in the terms of office of the members. So the bill specifies that the term of office for chairperson of the tribunals will be 4 years or till the attainment of age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. So for chairman, it will be 4 years and 70 years, and for the members, it will be 4 years and 67 years, whichever is earlier. So friends, these are some of the changes that have been brought in the Tribunal Reforms Bill 2021. Right, friends, this is all for today, and I am going to cover the remaining monthly policy review of February in if it is possible, I will complete that in one session, or if it is not possible, I will complete that in 2 sessions. Okay, friends, thank you for joining me. Have a good day. See you next time.